So I run into the famous Volkswagen panoramic sunroof shade issue, where it gets caught in the rails and it won't move forward or backwards now. I'm going to be replacing that today. So the first thing, since this is stuck and it's not going to move backwards or forwards anymore, we can take it off of these clips here, this front rail, just to loosen it, and then the motors will be allowed to move back and forth. So it's pretty simple. You just pull it off one side and then pull it off the other side. So I'll do that now. So basically just kind of pull it. I think one side, yeah, is a little looser than the other. You just kind of pull that one off and then pull this one off, and then make sure you have enough space, and then it just comes off like that. So to replace this, we are going to have to take off pretty much the whole headliner. So I opened the trunk, and then I disconnected the battery, and we'll just start pulling these side plastic pieces off, the pillars, the door handle, or the handles, and anything else that's holding it in, basically. So I started just by pulling on this corner here, and this popped off, and then I went down the bottom and pulled, and then that came off there. And then you just kind of, it's all just held in by little clips, so you want to be a little bit careful, but you do have to apply some pressure to get these off. On this side pillar, we have two prongs that go up. So you want to remove the bottom first, and on the bottom there are two clips here, and then on the side there are also two clips here. I would suggest removing the vent out of here first, because when I pulled this off, it popped out. And then these are just guides for this vent trim piece where these two slide in. So I would suggest removing this first, because it's going to pop off, and then I broke the guides, but it should still pop in there. But yeah, I would suggest removing this first from the side hole here, and then you want to pull the bottom ones off, the side ones off, and then kind of pull down and out like this, because it will take the roof with it. If you pop the vent out correctly, the trim piece stays on, and there's just two little tabs, one on each side there, and you just kind of want to put a little bit of force. They're just held in there, and it comes out pretty easy. To remove these handles from above the door, basically there's this little plastic here, this piece, and you can just use like a pry tool or whatever and push it out. So once you get that out, you can see inside there's one thing on top there and one on the bottom, and what you want to do is get a flathead. You want to get a flathead screwdriver, and as you're pulling on the door handle, you want to pull down on the top one and pull up on the bottom one. If you pull hard enough while you're doing this, you should be able to do one at a time, and that'll just release this from the top. Now this one I'm not taking off all the way. There's enough just pulling that off, there's enough space to drop the headliner, I think. But if it comes to it, I can take the rest off. And then there's these little covers that you need to pop off. They stay on there, they don't come off all the way. And then there's a bolt underneath. For this side, you want to just pop this off and then twist counterclockwise, and those come out. In here, there is a T15 star bolt. You want to take that off and then kind of just twist that out, and there is a cable you want to unplug for your mirror light. To remove this, I couldn't film it. Basically, just on one side of it, there are these two tabs. If you get one side down, the other side will just fall out. And then you want to disconnect all of those pins. Basically, what we're trying to do is get to these bolts here. There's two in the front there, and there's two in the back here. And that's going to drop this whole section. And there's more stuff to disconnect. You gotta remove these tabs because it's holding this in. They're a pain to do. You want to put some pressure on them with the pry tool. And then there are these leads that you can pull on the inside to slowly release each side. And there's 4 of those. So if you can see, there's these leaves on the inside. They kind of get messed up. You can push them back into shape pretty easily. But you want to keep a good, nice pressure, because if you don't have good pressure on there, no matter how much you pull on these, they're not going to come out. And you just want to do one side and then the other side, and just slowly get it out. But then there's these ones. Alright, for these pillars on the side, you're going to want to pop off this airbag. Oop. Careful not to scratch it. You want to pop off that airbag cover, and then there is inside a screw that you need to take off before you can take off this pillar. And then after that, you just kind of start at the bottom and pull your way up. There's a clip here at the bottom on that side, and then there's one right in the middle. Now, technically, you don't need to remove all of the pillars. You can just kind of pry it out, but I don't want to risk creasing the headliner. So I took them all off. It doesn't take that long. It's not that hard. And now we're gonna start pulling it down. So you kind of want to add some pressure. There are some clips that hold it in here in the back. But once you do that, it should come out pretty easy. Yep, there were a couple more clips. I'll hold it in. I think it's these rubbers here. And also, I guess there's some clips around there. But you just kind of get your hand underneath and push down, and then it should pop out really easily. These wires run all along the top here. So I'm not going to remove the headliner completely. I'm just going to leave it as is. But now I have access to the sunroof, which is all I need. So I just cut out my old sunroof shade so that I could see what I'm working with here. Here's the new one. Essentially, there's a coil in here, like a brass spring or whatever it is, that gets messed up on the other ones. And what we need to do is get access into here, because this extra portion that's rolled up sits inside of this. Yeah, so we need to get access to that. We can see the attachment point for the new one is like right here. So we just need to take this plastic off, and we should be able to switch it over. So I started by taking off these. These are your sunroof drain tubes, which you should clean out while you're in here. Just blow some compressed air through there, and they're known to get clogged. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts there. You want to undo those. So if you're taking those 4 bolts off in the back, this still would not come down. So I think the easiest option is to take off the sunroof. Basically, what you want to do, there's just 2 bolts holding it on. You can, there's this weather stripping here, and you can just remove that. Pretty easy. You just kind of pull on it in the end to get it started. And then you see there's 1 and 2 bolts holding it. I did lift the sunroof in the front up into that position there, just so that I could slide it out. So the sunroof does have another weather stripping seal that kind of sits under the body. So when you lift it from this side, which is towards the middle of the car, you lift it up and you kind of just push it forward until this releases. Then you should have enough room to just slide it out and pick it up. Now we have access to 2 bolts up here, one on this side and one on the other side. That will allow us to drop this down. So that's why we couldn't drop it down before, is because I guess we do have to remove the sunroof to get to these 2 bolts. So here's the culprit. Basically this is like a tape measure, and it slides in. It slides in to the rail in there. It got looped and kinked, and so basically it wasn't letting it fold correctly in the tray that holds the sunshade, and so it just wouldn't slide back anymore. Mine got stuck basically like up here, and it wouldn't go any further. Alright, so this is how the shade is being held in. Essentially, all you need to do, it's easiest if you get it back here, or if it's stuck, you can also remove it this way. You just put a flathead into here, and you just lift up a little bit like that, not too much. Once you put some pressure on that, you can just pull that out. Essentially, there's just this plastic piece is in between these teeth here, and then you can pull that one out, and that's how you connect the new one as well. So once you have the old one out, for the new one to fit in, you're gonna put it through the top here, but this doesn't go down enough to fit this portion. So you can loosen and remove this one and this one, and that's just gonna drop this a little bit lower so that you have more room to work with. Remove however many you need. It goes all the way around, so it's not gonna drop if you remove a couple, just to give yourself some room to work. So once you've done that, you can take your new one, make sure you put it in the right way. These should face the top like that. Okay, now we have to get these white pieces here back to clip into here. All right, those were a bit of a pain to get in. I suggest getting it in the right slot, starting it, and then you can go through the back and push it the rest of the way in with a screwdriver or something. Same goes for the black bracket here. Make sure it clips in and it sits down right. You'll know because your bolt holes match up, so make sure to put those in. Next step is to reattach this. It's gonna like flip over like this. It seems like on this new piece there is a rod that needs to go in. Alright, now that we've verified it's working, it does need a recalibration. It stops short, but that can be done afterward. Just put all the bolts back, screw this thing back up, put your sunroof back in. Trick with the sunroof, it kind of goes up and down a little bit. Trick there is to use a light, and the bolt, when it was first tightened, wherever it was sitting, it will leave some marks there. So you kind of just line it up where those marks are, where it was sitting before, and you should be good to go. And then you put everything back how it was, and there's your sunroof fixed.